Hello, hello, everyone. I am so excited for this um, interview, recording today, whatever you want to call it. I have two of my most recent graduates here with me from the Born to Coach Training Academy, Fiza and Angela, and they have so graciously decided to share their stories of how they found their first paying coaching clients inside the program. And I just think it's really valuable for new coaches to learn how to, or just hear other people's success stories to give you the belief that this is possible, that you can find paying clients, that you can be a professional life coach, that there's people out there who are willing to pay for your services. And we're going to create evidence around that today. Okay, yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. So the first question, and you guys can decide who wants to go first. Tell us a little bit more about how you found your first paying client and what that process was like.
So how I found my first paying client and sort of what my process was like, just I guess in one sentence, and then I can go into my story, was I just provided value authentically without strings attached. And then I took action by listening to my intuition. So I challenged myself by joining a Toastmasters group sort of at the near the end of my coach training program. And I was assigned the role of invocation. And so that person starts off the meeting by sharing something inspirational. So when I signed up for the role, I almost immediately got a download to do a guided meditation. I have been practicing meditation for the last 3 or 4 years on my own. So it's something I was pretty comfortable with, but I had never really done like a group guided meditation before. I think I only had about a minute and 30 seconds to do this. So I tied the theme of the meeting, which was bucket lists. And then minutes before the meeting, I got a download on what to do. And I just trusted that. I decided to guide the group, ask them to close their eyes, take a couple of deep breaths, and then kind of notice themselves experiencing a bucket list item. And then I asked them, what's something that you see? What's something that you smell? What's something that you can hear, taste, and touch? And then I welcomed everyone back to the space and had them share in the chat. And so after I did my little guided meditation, I received some great feedback from some of the members. And one of those people actually turned into my client within a week. And so I provided further value by offering them a free coaching session, no strings attached. And then that call naturally turned into a sales call, and the rest is history, I guess.
Totally, totally. Yeah, I did Toastmasters as well. I feel like it totally enhanced my coaching skills and helped me become a better public speaker. And it helps me to do YouTube videos and podcast episodes as well. So yeah, it's such a great thing for coaches to join. And then a couple other things is like, I really heard you leading with value and really staying unattached. I know you probably like weren't going into that situation looking for a paying client, but I just heard you showing up from this place of like, I want to provide value to these people. And by leading that meditation, I heard some really great open-ended coaching questions in there, some visualization. And then you stayed open. And from that place, someone reached out to you and inquired about your coaching. And then I love that so it sounds like you did a discovery call with them first, and then you offered them a free sample coaching session. Is that how it went?
No, I just responded to their email saying like, oh, thank you so much. And I think in their email, they asked if I have any other offerings. And so that's where I kind of put almost my sales pitch, not even a sales pitch, honestly. I was just like, yeah, I'm actually getting certified as a coach. So I would love to offer you a free coaching session. In return, I just ask that I can record it and, give it to my coach trainer. And so it felt very natural. Like I wasn't selling him on anything. And I was giving something in return for something else. And I think that felt good for both of us. And he was like, oh my God, I would be so honored to do this, and I'd be happy for you to record it and for this to help you in the process of your coach training. And so we talked about that on email, and then we didn't have a discovery call or anything. We just went straight into the sample coaching session, and that ended up turning into a sales call.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So you did a little bit of that intake, or a little bit of like a discovery call in writing in the email, which you can totally do it. There's so many different ways to do the discovery call or sales call. And then again, leading with more value. What I like to teach my students is it's easier to show people what coaching is versus trying to tell them what coaching is, because it could be really hard to explain what life coaching is to someone. So yeah, I love that you offered him a sample coaching session. And then you also went into it too, saying like, I'm in coach training and I want to submit this call to my trainer so she can evaluate and give me feedback. So, you got some value out of it then too. And then I remember listening to that call and evaluating it with you. And it was a phenomenal session. I was like, are you sure this is a sample coaching call? This feels like you've been coaching this client for years. It was so good. And then, yeah, just by you showing up, staying unattached, and offering to support him for free without him even paying you a dime, like as a result, he was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I want more. Tell me how we can keep working together. Okay, and Miss Angela, tell us a little bit more about how you found or I guess it's better just instead of saying finding, like how did you create your first paying client and what was that process like for you?
I would say it was kind of from the very beginning when in our training, in our coach training, you taught us probably right out of the gate to start sharing our coaching with people. So I really took that to heart, and friends, family, anyone that I ran into that asked me what I did, I would just start talking about coaching. And that made me a lot more comfortable, just bringing it up and having conversations around it. And you're right. I don't think that a lot of people quite know what's entailed in coaching. So around halfway through the program, I decided to give myself a challenge. We had finished a pretty good chunk of the material, and in late August, I decided to challenge myself to find 10 people to give a sample coaching session to. And in essence, to step out of my zone of comfort, because I was very scared. I didn't know what to expect. So I went ahead and made a post on Instagram and invited people to experience a free coaching session. And I had incredible response. So my spots filled quickly. One of those was with a fitness coach that it was in the beginning stages of getting her business off the ground. So I would say she was really pivotal in the way that she was really open to coaching. And we met face to face a few times, and then I decided to get a little bit more comfortable on Zoom. So that started taking off, and we decided to do a trade. And then through some of the other coaching sessions, I really wanted to sort of use it as a creative outlet and to try different ways of talking about the discovery call and my offers. So I would just say through the sample coaching sessions, I ended up obtaining a paying client from that. And it was a way for me to push myself again out of that comfort zone and just to put everything that we had learned into practice. So for me, that was absolutely pivotal.
Yeah, I mean, that can be so hard to push yourself outside your comfort zone, and it's really uncomfortable, but nothing good happens in the comfort zone. So that's great that you really held yourself accountable to doing that. And look what happened, right? Like your You're creating paying clients now. I think that's brilliant that I love you gave yourself this little challenge of, okay, I'm going to offer like 10 sample sessions. And again, like from what Faiza said, like I heard you just being really unattached. Like, I'm just going to put this out there in the world, see what happens, and we'll go from there. That unattached part is huge.
Yes.
Also starting off with offering that value as well, like really showing people how you can help them right now before, I've always heard the phrase like value before business is everything. And when we try to do business first, that's kind of like when it maybe kind of starts to feel icky and slimy and can push people away. So yeah, just starting off with that value, staying unattached. And then also too, something that's important is that you're right. You guys learned so much in the Born to Coach Training Academy, like 7 months worth of learning how to be a transformational coach and starting a successful coaching business. But learning is different from actually going out there and putting what you learned into practice. So again, congrats to you, Angela, for taking everything you learned and saying, now I'm going to go out there and apply it. So that way I can actually create some paying clients.
Yeah, thank you. I think for me, that was probably the most helpful. And then just like you said, really remaining unattached to that potential client and just realizing, maybe they're ready for this, maybe they're not ready for this. It was amazing. I really had a good experience doing that. And it just it gave me some confidence that I needed.
Yeah, you're so right. When you offer sample coaching sessions to someone, by the end of the session, someone might be like with Faiza's, case, like, oh my gosh, I love this. I want more. Let's talk about how I can pay you and we can work together on longer term. And then some people might be like, that was really cool. Like, thanks. I'm going to sit with that for a while and let that seed plant. And then some people might be like, nope, not for me, never doing coaching again. But again, it's just like being open that there can be all kinds of outcomes and we can't go into that like, okay, I have to get a paying client out of this, because they'll feel that energy and that pushes people away. And it's kind of like what we teach in coaching too, just really being okay with wherever the person ends up by the end of the session. And if they want to work together, great. If not, that's okay too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, I love it. Okay, so my next question, so we'll go to you, Faiza, is what was the hardest part of creating your first paying client?
Yeah, the hardest part of creating my first paying client would be my own limiting beliefs. I haven't been on social media since COVID. So I had this belief that I wouldn't get clients without a website or Instagram or like being out there. But I knew I wasn't ready to get back out there yet. And so I'm happy to say that all of the paid clients I have right now are outside of social media. I'm still not on social media. So the best part of this process was honoring my needs, and it worked out for me in the end.
Oh my gosh, that's huge. Because that is something that does keep a lot of coaches stuck, or is thinking, I have to have this gorgeous website with all these professional pictures, and I have to be showing up on social media 12 hours a day. And that type of thinking really does prevent a lot of coaches from finding paying clients. And so you've just proved like you honored your own boundaries. And you're just like, it just doesn't feel good to be on social media right now, but you're like, I'm still gonna, I know there's clients out there regardless, and I'm going to create them without social media. And you did it, or without a website too. Yeah. Yeah. And that was the same case for me. The first 6 months of running my life coaching business, I didn't have a website. I just was like, I can't do this. It doesn't feel like the right time. And was able to create clients without that. And then eventually I found the more clients I worked with, I really started to pay attention to the problems and issues they were bringing to me, and that I was paying attention to the words they were using. And then I used all that to form my website. And it made so much easier creating a website after already working with paying clients.
Yeah, I think that's a really important note that you just said there. even though it doesn't feel like you're working on your business, if you're not building your website or you're not building your content, but if you're going out there and you're coaching, like you are doing the work, and you can always use everything that you're getting from your clients and from your own mistakes and things that went really well and things that you want to change in eventually creating that moving forward. So you're always doing the work, I think, in the background or at the forefront, really.
Absolutely. And I think it's the most efficient work when you are directly talking to humans and coaching people. I think that's what moves the needle the fastest in our coaching businesses. Yeah. Okay, Angela. So same question for you. What was the hardest part for you for creating your first client?
Oh, goodness. I would say for me, it was, I mean, I would have to say the limiting belief as well, that I needed to have everything set. So I was, I really wanted, I thought I wanted a website at the beginning. And now I realize I absolutely don't. So I'm just going to honor that and not move forward. I thought I needed to have a name, a logo, everything written out. And when I found myself doing that is when I thought I have to make an offer that's just going to get me into coaching, and out of that mindset that it all has to be perfect. So that was really, really hard for me to let go of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that can be so hard to let go of that feeling of everything has to be done, everything has to be perfect before people will pay me to coach them, right? Like I have to have the logo, I have to have the right colors, the branding, I have to have all the contracts. Like there's a million things sometimes you have to do.
Well, and that's when I realized, when I started writing all of them down, I thought none of this includes coaching.
Right.
So that's what I did. I wrote everything down that I really wanted to accomplish, and none of it had coaching on it. And I thought, that's not why I'm doing this. So let's just set that aside.
Amazing. Amazing. I always, whenever I lead I don't know if I did this for your class, but whenever I lead the branding class and we're talking about colors and logos and all, I always ask all the students, I'm like, do you guys know what my colors are? Do you guys know what my logo is before you join the Born to Coaching Academy? And they're always like, no. So it's like, just goes to show you, like, people will invest really good money to work with you as their coach. And, even if you do have like all that stuff set up, most of the time they don't even remember it. So
yeah, if they don't like you, know you, and trust you, it doesn't matter what your logo is.
Right, definitely. So yeah, really great you were able to move through that. It sounds like for both of you, it was all mindset stuff. It was limiting beliefs, it was stories. So and we know, right, you guys have learned when coaching your clients, like that is usually the most important thing to tackle first, when you're going towards bigger goals in life. Because if you do have all these thoughts, these stories of, oh, no one's going to want to pay me to be their coach, oh, nobody's investing in coaching anymore, oh, people wouldn't pay that for coaching, like that's not going to help you to create clients. It's just going to keep you stuck and just working on a website all day long with no paying clients, probably. Okay, Faiza, what was the easiest part for you with creating your first client?
Surprisingly, the sale. So in the Born to Coach Academy, we learned how to handle objections and all that good stuff, but I didn't go into my first session thinking about any of that because I didn't intend to have a sales call. I remember asking my client what their biggest takeaway was from the session and how they can hold themselves accountable to their goals. And in response, they said that they might connect with me again to get further support. So then the client just naturally started asking about my offerings at that point. And it was the first time that I shared information about my package that I was creating in class. They even brought up an objection at that point, which was talking to their spouse first. And I don't even think I thought about it in that moment. It just kind of came out of my mouth about my pricing. And I told them that I like to be really transparent and just shared it. And they felt it was totally reasonable and ended up paying me in full within the same week.
Oh, it feels so good when you get those pay in fulls, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And so you got your first objection that I have to talk to my spouse first, which is a very, yeah, common objection that'll come up. And you're right, we did do a lot of sales training and work around objections in semester 2 of the Born to Coach Training Academy. But I like what you said of like the sales felt the easiest. And I do feel that when like sales and marketing, when it doesn't even feel like you're selling, when it doesn't even feel like you're marketing, like that's when I think it actually works the best. Right. Because it's like when we're trying so hard and like, okay, yeah, like I have to make this sale and I have to ask all the right questions and I have to like say my program perfectly and all that, like we put all that pressure on ourselves. And then that's when it like sales is just so hard versus like just like showing up and connecting and sharing and talking. That's in my opinion just the best and easiest way to sell.
Yeah, I realized that because I wasn't intending on selling and that I was really showing up as a coach and asking those accountability questions, and the client came up with their own ideas of what could help them be more accountable, and then they sort of inserted me into their ideas. That's what helped me run with it, instead of me being like, hey, this is how I can help you. Just asking them, how has this been helpful for you? What's been most valuable around this? And yeah, it's just the most natural way for them to realize that this does have a lot of value because they got to reflect and share that back with you.
Yeah, I really hear you using a lot of your coaching skills in your sales process and putting it back on the client to tell you why this would be helpful for them or why they need this. All right. So, Angela, what was the easiest part for you with creating your first paying client?
Well, I might have to piggyback off Fiza on this one. I felt like when I had the sample coaching session with my client, she had several breakthroughs during our session, and she was really she was kind of emotionally invested, and you know, I did share my offer with her at the end, but she was already on board, because after we sort of wrapped things up, I asked her how she felt about the session. And she just really discovered a lot of things about herself, and was just very open and receptive during the session. So I shared the details with her, and the sale was actually, she was already ready and on board at the end. So I would have to say the sales portion on that.
Again, music to my ears, right? Sales can be such a scary and hard topic for a lot of coaches, and it doesn't have to be. And especially if you put that work up front, like both of you did, where you're taking the time to build that relationship, you're providing value, absolutely helping the client to get breakthroughs. The next natural line of thinking for the client is like, if I just like experienced all this for free, like what's it going to be like working together for a month or 3 months or 6 months and going even deeper? Like that's how they're thinking, and that's how we want to leave them. And then the sales part just seems to take care of itself from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay. And so Fiza, my next question for you is, what strategies and mindset will you keep using moving forward to create new clients? And then what will you let go of?
What I've learned from this process of meeting people and attracting clients through word of mouth is show, don't tell. And so I think my mindset would be showing up authentically and with the intention to serve. And the right people are just they're gonna know what's up. They're gonna feel you out. They're gonna know that you've been doing the work and that they want what you got. and they know that you have the tools and they want to learn that alongside you. So I think that's really what's most important for me, is just to continue to show up authentically and with the intention to serve. And then something that I'm going to be working on letting go of is letting go of expectations around who my clients will be and where they will come from.
So many gems there. I love the show. Would you say like show, not tell?
So don't tell. Yeah.
Show, don't tell. I love that phrase. And then when you do show up, showing up from this really like authentic place and just serving first. Amazing. And I love that, really letting go of who the clients are, where they're going to come from, because they can come from anywhere at any time. It's funny. I always go into every launch for the Born to Coach Training Academy cohort, and I always think I know who's going to sign up from like kind of who I've been talking to or past relationships. And then the class that ends up joining is like people I never would have imagined. And I've just like learned with every launch now, I just have to keep an open mind and know like the right students are going to find me, and I don't have to worry or try to figure it out. And I just, like you said, just show up authentically and serve and know that clients can come from anywhere, and students too. All right. And Miss Angela, what mindsets and strategies do you want to keep moving forward with creating paying clients that you feel like is working? And then what would you want to let go of?
As far as the mindset going forward, I love the service mindset. I think that if we have that, the rest of what we do just sort of flows behind it. I really had more of a business mindset going into this, and I just noticed that it felt very forced. It felt not very authentic for me. And I think during those sample coaching sessions that I challenged myself to, it just showed me to just show up very, very open and with no expectation. I do remember probably until the very end of coach training, my head would go 2 steps past where the client was thinking, and I would almost stop really that active listening that we were taught, and I just wasn't able to stay with the client. So for me, the mindset going forward is, stay open, stay unattached, be very intentional, be a great active listener, and be in the place with the client that they're at in that moment and nowhere else. Yeah, and that's what I really tried to start doing, and it's working. It feels a lot more authentic. As far as what I want to let go of is really not staying 2 steps ahead of the client and sort of having a feel as to where they're going to go. Just let it be very, very organic with no control.
That's, again, what we teach on how to be a transformational coach, is really just dancing in the moment with the client, being present to what they're sharing with you right now, and not trying to get them to a certain end destination.
Yeah, it feels really good when you do it that way.
And so often, we come onto the sales call with this intention of like, okay, I need to get them to be my paying client with this end destination. And it's not going to feel good for you. It's not going to feel good for them. And we really just have to show up, empty container, and be like, I don't know where that's going to go today, but I'm ready to talk to my client. I'm ready to serve them. I'm ready to see how I can get their needs met. And we'll go from there. Like that I don't feel like that's just a natural thing that most people know how to do. Like, it's something you really have to like train your mind to be able to show up to that place and really let go of that control.
Yeah, absolutely. That was probably my biggest hurdle. But I had one of my clients, we finished coaching the other day, and she said, that was so good. And I said, well, what was different? What felt different to you about that session? And she said, I don't know what it was. And I think it was just the way that I showed up.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this has been such a fun interview. I wish that both of you could join me on all my YouTube videos. This would just be way more fun. But I know that, both of you are busy and need to get back to your lives. So before we wrap up today, I would love for both of you to just share, how can people keep in touch with you after watching this or listening to this on the podcast? And, if you have any current offers or freebies or anything that you want to share as well. Faiza, I'll let you start.
Sure. Yeah. All of your lovely listeners can keep in touch via email with me, and it's coachingwithfaiza@gmail.com. And I would love to offer one free coaching session for anyone listening in the audience.
Ooh, juicy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nice. And for anyone who's considering taking Faiza up on her coaching session, highly recommend it. Like I said, I've observed Faiza's coaching sessions over the past 7 months. She's an incredible coach. Will just get you to an instant new result and breakthrough within minutes. So highly recommend it. Thank you so much for that generous offer. And Angela, how can people keep in touch with you?
So I also have a Gmail. It is Angela Meeker Coach. That's Meeker. Angela Meeker Coach @gmail.com. And I also would love to offer a free coaching session as well, so we can level it up.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So both of you guys can, or for anyone watching or listening, you guys can experience PCC level coaching with these two fabulous coaches. And again, I also observed many of Angela's coaching sessions and hours over the past 7 months. And you both are just amazing coaches, amazing students. And you made my job so easy as the mentor and the trainer. And it was just such a pleasure having both of you in class. And thank you again for being here today and willing to share your process and what worked and didn't work with the listeners and audience. And I hope that, this was really valuable for anyone who listened.
Thank you, Krista.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Talk to you later.
Ready.
Bye.
Bye.